Alright, hello everyone watching, this is the Doctor, and with me is Typical Manga Fan. Today we're going to be discussing the most recent release of One Piece, that is chapter 768, The Trigger That Day. And we open up here with the latest addition to the cover story where Jinbei sees ruins falling from the sky.
I love that face. That's like, what the hell? Is it? I forgot. Is it from like Skypiea or something like that? Or
I don't know, something's dropping from there. I don't know if the building itself is Skypiean though. It's not the same. It's not the same Mayan style that Skypiea had.
It's different.
Could be a different Sky Island though, or something else is going on completely. Guess we'll see as we go along there. Anyway,
yeah, I think so.
And in this case, the actual chapter itself opens up with the last moments of Law's flashback. Corazon declaring that Law is free. But Law himself disagrees, because the day he considers himself free is the day he stops Doflamingo.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought, I think that it's kind of like just finishing the job, just having closure. I think that's the whole point of this for Law, just having closure and avenging Corazon's death and just forgetting about the whole pain of his loss. But actually not really forget, but like just kind of like absorb it into his soul and just kind of be able to move on, because I think he just couldn't live with Doflamingo being around and being alive,
And one thing that occurred to me, like while I was watching it, is like reading through this, like I think this may explain why Claw didn't bring his crew with him on this. This is his mission. It's a personal mission.
Probably, but I think it'd be a little smarter just in case.
Well, yeah, but Law's not thinking completely with his head on this. This is a personal matter for him, so...
Well, I mean, at least have the crew handle the grunts, at least, right?
Yeah.
Because Law has been weakened. Like, he's been, like, beaten up so much in this arc alone. Like, I mean...
Yeah.
He got beaten up by Virgo and, during the whole Punk Hazard arc, and then he healed for a bit, and he came here and he got beaten up by Doflamingo and the Admiral. I mean, it was just bad.
Yeah, of course that may also, of course, the whole Punk Hazard thing may also be explained. Part of the reason why he didn't have the crew with him, maybe he had to leave them behind as part of being allowed in the first place.
Yeah, well,
but either way, like at the very least, this is why it occurred to me that might be one reason why Law didn't bring them along, just because. For their own sake, for their own protection. If something happens to him, they can at least keep going.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, like the hard parts are, I guess they'll all come around eventually. But so right now they're just fighting, and it's kind of interesting having Law just trying to use some of his abilities against
Doflamingo there.
Doflamingo, yeah.
And that is a pretty good ability where you can just like switch places with some random object.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting how you can just say. I think he did with like a rock. I think was it?
Yeah, he threw a rock behind Doflamingo and swapped with it.
Yeah,
of course, his attempt to stab backwards though is blocked by Doflamingo grabbing the blade.
Yeah, Doflamingo. So, but basically, he talks about the deeds. Like, so you're a celestial dragon. So, what do you think of the deed? And then, of course, Doflamingo doesn't know, so he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit, I am a Celestial Dragon, blah, 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 I am strong and powerful, which is kind of weird, because just because you're a Celestial Dragon doesn't mean you're strong. I mean, Doflamingo is probably, in terms of physical strength, the strongest of all the Celestial Dragons, because he was the one who actually went out in the world and actually had to, build himself back up.
He's the one who actually had to survive.
Yeah, Celestial Dragons are just pampered brats. That's what who never got a chance to grow up.
And that's why Doflamingo Sr. was like the big exception there.
Can you imagine what would happen if they stayed as Celestial Dragons? I know Doflamingo would probably just be Doflamingo.
Yeah.
But I wonder how Corazon would actually grow up. Would he be like an asshole too? Or would he end up being like his dad? Because his dad actually did grow up in that environment and actually went into adulthood. And same thing with his mom. So and then it still ended up being okay. So I guess Corazon would probably end up being a nice Celestial Dragon, which is like a biggie. So then Law's like, yeah, I'm actually a D too. Haha.
I like the fact that I like this part actually. Like, it's pretty much like he's taunting Doflamingo with the fact that make him screw up.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the whole.
Like, he's making Doflamingo angry to make him make a wrong move.
I don't understand why he has such an issue with the D. I get that the Celestial Dragon's enemies are the D's, but it's based on like just legend and folklore, right? And Doflamingo's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. So why is it that Doflamingo's letting this get to him so much?
I mean, ingrained superstition is harder to beat than you might think, so that's probably part of it.
Maybe. But I mean, again, he left as a kid, so I don't know. there's a lot of things. It's just legend, I guess. And remember that his
Of course, he may know that he may have some information about why the D is a serious deal though, as well. Like even outside of legend, like the D's are connected or some kind of big thing.
Well, his brother didn't know anything about it, as I was saying.
Yeah.
And so maybe at that point he didn't know anything about it. Maybe during the time gap he learned something. But right now that's not much of an issue. Much of a problem because he's just doing it to piss him off, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's all. It's like I shall taunt you kind of thing.
Basically. So Viola's like, hey, I'm basically gonna be.
We're pretty much in recap mode right now.
Yeah, Viola's basically broadcasting everything in her head, at least.
Yeah, and she's letting the readers like get reacquainted with what's going on where.
Yeah, that was actually kind of hard to get. I actually did lose track of who was fighting who.
Yeah. So it probably wasn't a bad thing to include that right here.
So we basically have three areas: the Statue of Pika, the main area where Doflamingo was fighting Law, yeah, Smile Factory, and Luffy just like he fell off, right?
Yeah, I think he fell off. Did he meet with somebody else along the way, or? He's fighting Bellamy. He's got Bellamy.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was because that was like a long time ago. So Usopp's barely alive. Well, he's holding on. He's obviously going to make it.
Yeah, he's fine. At the very least, he's not in any danger.
Yeah. So everyone's putting out the fires and fighting off the Are there people still being controlled? Yeah.
They're still being controlled by the birdcage. And actually, they do mention one interesting little detail. Two things I noticed here about the whole recap. Number one, they actually confirmed that Dellinger is like part Fishman.
Oh yeah. I know. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which explains little things like Baby Dellinger having a shark fin in the flashback.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah, the Arlong Park forums kind of mentioned it, so I kind of saw the little picture of it there. But yeah, like, do you see Baby Dellinger in a few spots during that flashback?
You see it in his cap. You see a shark.
Yeah, true. That's also part of it too. In fact, actually, wait. I just realized. It says half Fistman. He's half Fistman of Fighting Fist descent. So his Fistman side is actually related to those same fists we've been seeing all arc.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what they are.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed is that what happened to Buffalo?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I can't remember.
Wait.
Did he get beaten somewhere? Oh.
Yeah. You saying that the Fishman karate guy was a fighting Fishman too?
No. Well, he's a Fistman that fights, but no. Like, you know how there's like Shark Fistman or Octopus Fistman?
Yeah.
Yeah. From what he's reading right here, like Dellinger descended from a Fighting Fistman.
Yeah. Was that what you were just trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which explains the horns and the hat and everything, come to think of it, because that matches them as well.
Okay, I thought you were saying he was related to a Fishman. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know.
Dellinger is. I mean, he's half Fishman, it says.
Well, I mean, related to a known Fishman, like someone like...
Oh, no.
Like Tiger Fish or whatever his name is.
No. Fish or Tiger, but no, nothing like that, no. He's just like a half Fistman, half somebody else like that giant from Foxy.
He might face off against Koala, probably.
Yeah, maybe Fistman Karate would be an interesting thing right there.
Yeah.
He's been taking out a lot of guys, though. He's been active. So.
Yeah, so, we have Pika fighting Zoro, blah, blah, blah. Diamante fighting, Kyros.
Kyros and Rebecca.
Treble, I like how Doflamingo's just on the left. Doflamingo and Treble fighting, Law and Luffy.
Senor Pink and Frankie.
Yeah, that.
I'm not sure if we can call that a fight, but it's still something.
Well, the girls will like it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I do like the fact that there's at one point where Senor Pink apparently takes a big blow just to protect a random cat. And Frankie's just all in tears about it.
Yeah, that. It's yeah. Yeah, they're good for comedy, I guess.
Yeah, they're like a very good combination of opponents right there. I'm almost expecting now the next cover story to be Senor Pink or something. Senor Pink's hard-boiled journey. You can picture that.
I mean, I don't see much. These executives. I mean, I don't see them as being as powerful as people like Crocodile or like Jinbei. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of just don't really care about them. Like, the problem is like we've already come across so many like really really powerful people that even though these guys are obviously very powerful, like I only see Treble and Doflamingo as the real true threats at this point. Well, and that these guys are just threats for like the other crew members, but for people like Luffy, it's kind of like, okay, he'd take care of these guys.
I think the executives at least would be credible threats for like the heavier hitters, like Pika and Treble and Diamante. I think they would be like the heaviest. Since they're the heaviest here, they're probably the ones that can be the biggest threat. The officers are probably like for mid-tier guys, like for example Frankie and Senior Pink, like we got right now. Or
wait, I thought Senior Pink was an executive.
No, there are only 3 executives.
Oh, okay.
Like the Diamante, Treble, and Pika.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember because that's the one with the seats.
Right, because they're based off the suits of cards, and there's the empty one for Heart, which was Corazon.
Corazon for an executive wasn't exactly that powerful, but okay.
Well, I mean, he had a family connection, so. I mean,
yeah, probably.
And then remember his predecessor was Virgo, who we know is very powerful.
Why was he the Heart again?
Well, he was like Doflamingo's best pal, apparently, or someone who's been with him the longest. Everyone else is either officer or lower.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember, the reason why I got tricked was it was like, how many executives are left? And they showed everyone, so I'm like, oh, they do.
Yeah, that'll probably change slightly when we get to like the official Viz translation and all that. But yeah, basically, like, we got the 3 executives, the officers below them, and then all the underlings. And the officers are kind of taking on either a Straw Hat or one of the Coliseum fighters.
Was Baby 5 smoking ever since he was a kid? I remember that. Like, wasn't she smoking like since he was a kid?
Probably. I mean, was he smoking in the flashback?
I think so. I remember they say something about I remember she had her powers early. I don't remember if she smoked early. Anyway, so next page. Oh yeah, so you got the cat and and Nico Robin and Bartolomeo, who is being awesome as usual.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I love how I just calls him all senpai.
Because he's awesome, and of course you gotta give respect to Robin. It's Robin.
Yeah.
The night guy is fighting Gladius, and who bets that he gets defeated, and he falls asleep, and then after that he just basically destroys the guy. Who bets?
Yep.
That's his ability, right? Like, he falls asleep and he becomes like a crazy.
He's got like Jekyll and Hyde thing going. In fact, that's actually part of his name. Come to think of it. Let me see if I can find a thing about that.
Yeah. And then on guard. Blah blah.
Like, the name Cavendish is actually related to Jekyll and Hyde, if I remember this right.
Okay, so I want to see when Hyde comes out and just destroys the guy. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously very powerful, on his own. But I think he's probably just met his match with this guy, and then Kyros and Diamante are fighting, and of course Diamante has a big problem fighting Kyros, even though he only has 1 leg. Because of course Kyros was the undefeated gladiator,
Yeah, he's a badass. So he's at least, had he had the one, like, he probably would have been able to at least stand right there up there with Luffy and Law.
Yeah, okay. Kyros is a badass. That's definitely the biggest understatement of the chapter. And of course, inside the palace, we have the Tontatas rescuing the princess, and then we have Sato and Koala, making sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And Koala's costume, like her clothing it's really interesting. Like, I like it. It's really awesome. I mean, just knowing her history and how she's become, like, she's actually
that was a nice little pleasant surprise to have her show up here and all this.
I'm so glad they brought her back, because I would have hated it if they left her and just in ignorance, like, they didn't know that her village basically turned into a fisher tiger.
Yeah. What I'm wondering now is if Sabo and Koala stick around for any reason, if we'll be seeing Jinbei next arc. Maybe.
So anyway, next page we have the king with his boxing powers, and he's obviously is he building up, or is he just fighting normally?
I think he's fighting. As far as I know, he's fighting normally. But
okay, because I want to see him just for that one time. Just how long does he have to wait again? Just one day?
Like, I think it's like he has to charge for at least a full hour before he can use the punch at all.
No, but I thought he had to he can only use like 1 per day, right?
I don't remember one or the other on that.
Yeah. Well, I said just 1 day. That's actually a long time, but
yeah, I don't even think a full day's passed in this whole arc.
I think he's used it twice already, right?
He used it once in the Coliseum and like a smaller version later.
Okay, but I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same. I think it's kind of the same thing. It's just like, no, he didn't have the full hour charge though, right? Or like, he had to charge it for a long time. He didn't get that charge last time, so yeah, it would probably be smaller. But I want to see him use like the whole thing on like Doflamingo.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like I said, the executives, the officers, the Doflamingo guys seem to have the advantage at the moment.
Yeah.
Because like Dellinger, Mach-Vice, and Lao G, I think the only one having trouble is Baby 5, and I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I'm looking at the panel. I'm just like, well, she's like, what did you just? And I'm just so confused. Like, what's happening?
Well, the one thing is that her hands are currently size.
Yeah, I thought
And
that
that's
was
the
her
name of the
though.
guy.
Wait, I thought that was guy. I thought that was ability, right?
That is her ability, but I don't know. Maybe he manipulated it somehow. Because remember,
Well,
this guy, this is the two guys are named Sai and Boo. So
okay, and he's confused. Oh, I guess he saw. Well, I'm surprised that this guy actually is the cone-headed guy is actually having a hard time because like, I know he's old,
yeah,
but this guy's old too. And
yeah.
back in his prime, I mean, this guy was super powerful.
Like he went toe to toe with Garp, and Luffy was a difficult fight for. He was a difficult fight for Luffy too. I think it was like Luffy's first actual difficult fight.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that this guy's actually having trouble, like at all. I thought he would just be like, killing it basically down there. Yeah, who knows though? I mean,
Of course, Lao G was shown to be pretty damn tough too.
yeah, but that was against puppet Kiros. I mean, toy Kiros. That was not.
And
That's not
Tantata,
fair.
so it's not. Yeah, it's not necessarily an easy fight, but
Anyway, so Viola is basically like, we gotta make sure we can't take him down. If we can't take him down, then we're screwed. And then was like, wait, we're charging pirates? So
bit late in the update there, buddy.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of what do we say?
That guy's a bit late on the uptake.
Oh yeah. Because I think they were talking about that before. So Fujitora's quiet and he's he's waiting. So we go back to the law fight with Doflamingo, and he's like, Doflamingo's like, so you're a D? Huh. And are you trying to imply that, fate brought us here together? What type of bullshit did Corazon tell you? Just because you're a D, you think you can actually stop me? All that natural enemy talk is just superstition. And then Jubble is actually like, oh, dude, he's actually, you're actually falling into his trap.
Yeah, like he's trying to warn Doflamingo that he's like getting caught up in the way to say is like the D power sphere of influence, like which maybe like getting caught up in Law's pace.
Yeah, that's what I remember looking at. I'm like, wait, Deer's power of influence. I mean, did they ever specifically state to have that term before?
Yeah.
I thought D's were. D's don't have. Do they have a power in terms of like pissing off bad people but inspiring the good people? I don't know. What is their power?
Well,
what is this?
There does seem to be like a certain level of charisma involved. I mean, look at the ones we know about.
Yeah. But of course, this has been used in a very offensive, aggressive type of way, and like he's pissing off Doflamingo.
Mm-hmm. And he actually managed to get in the last page. He managed to actually get a shot in.
I think the thing is like Doflamingo is stronger than Law, but that Law is using basically Doflamingo's weakness of being really too emotional.
Yeah, he's usually like using Doflamingo's personality against him.
Doflamingo's always been that. He's always been interesting. Like he's definitely one of the stronger Royal Shichibu guys. But now he's like basically as it turns out, Corazon. I think it's kind of weird. I think he inferred that Corazon could have actually beaten Doflamingo if he actually was willing to do it.
Mm-hmm. Or at least he could have at least been able to shoot him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like he's like, yeah, I kind of pull the trigger in his place. So it's kind of weird. Like, but Corazon was never in the position to do it, right? Or was
I don't know. Did he have a gun at that final moment? I don't remember.
No, he didn't.
No.
He had a smoke and that's it. Cigarette. So it's kind of interesting that that he said that Corazon basically he could have won just by the name alone, or that Law could win by just the name alone.
Well, no, Law is saying that he knew perfectly well that he could never win by just the name alone. Otherwise, he wouldn't be having this much trouble in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows he can't win by just the name. But it's like the name at least kind of gives him like something of an edge in some ways.
Okay, yeah. I misread that for a sec. Yeah. The trigger, but he also again he infers that Corazon could have pulled some type of trigger, so it's kind of interesting what he talks about.
Yeah, I think the idea is like, even if he had the opportunity, Corazon could never have killed Doflamingo. Not necessarily because he wasn't too weak to, but just because it's his brother.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to stop Doflamingo because he was going too far, but he didn't want to actually like have it in him to actually kill the guy.
Yeah.
And that fits with Corazon as well, like for what we know of him. So, I mean, but now like Law is going to do, he's going to try and finish the job that Corazon began. That's been his life's mission. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, it's a fighting One Piece. It's not really special. It's just a recap.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Recapping some and a little bit of action, getting back to the fight.
I did groan a bit when I saw how many fights were left because I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I like this arc, I really do, but
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want it to end at this point. I mean, because
Yeah.
we're done with the flashback,
Yeah.
now we want to see the fight, and now I kind of, and I feel like the Doflamingo fight might last a while. I don't want to. Yeah, it's just so many fights. So.
I don't think it'll be quite that big a deal. Like, we'll probably see like several fights wrapped up quickly in a few chapters. I don't know if we'll do like the whole big thing like we did with Fishman Island, where they all wrap up in one big shot. Because that was awesome once, but I don't think we could really pull it off twice or do that again here. Like, I think over the next few chapters we'll see the fights, the minor fights kind of wrap themselves up, and then we'll see the bigger fights from Senior Pink on up start to work themselves out.
The fishmen were never ever a real threat.
True.
Never. Even at any point were they a threat. Like, Zoro could have won everything by himself. He beat the guy underwater.
Right, and then so did Luffy.
Yeah, so...
Yeah,
but if Zoro is not the strongest member, so if he could do it, then this Luffy's just sitting in the back and like, yeah, I could just beat everyone.
Yeah.
So the fisherman were never a threat. So this is the first real true threat that we've had. I mean, I know Caesar.
Yeah, we had Caesar Clown, but this is actually like the first group that is actually hostile and battle ready. Yeah. Because Caesar Clown, they were scientists. Like they had power. They weren't weak, but they weren't necessarily fighters either.
Yeah, he basically tricked Luffy. He got Luffy off guard, basically.
Yeah.
Cut off his oxygen, but
I mean, the only one there was like a proper fighter would probably be Virgo.
It was just weird because they kept switching, and like there was like Law was an enemy for a while, then Virgo was an enemy, then Smoker was there, but then they switched body. It was just like a lot of dilly dallying in that arc. So this is the one arc we kind of got straight. Yeah.
I mean,
we know who we're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of what happened in Punk Country kind of sets up what we have here, so they didn't really need to go through like a lot of extra detail.
Yeah, so it's sort of interesting. Of course, I miss Corazon very much.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I kind of feel that I feel that we didn't have enough. I feel like I wanted more of Corazon. Like I would have been fine if that flashback went on a few chapters longer.
Well, give us some time. We'll get in that animated. Maybe there'll be some filler to work with.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the pacing was perfect, so I can't complain about that. I mean, it probably would have ruined the pacing, but I mean, I just wanted more Corazon. I'm kind of hoping that he made it. Maybe he stayed. He kind of got resurrected. I don't know. Like I wanted some way for him to come back, even if it ruins the emotional impact of his death.
Yeah.
I kind of want him just to come back.
I mean, I don't think Law would do that, just because like Corazon sacrificed himself to save Law. I mean, Law doing the opposite around. Like they actually brought that up way back with Sanji.
No, I don't mean Law resurrected. Corazon. I mean, like Corazon somehow being resurrected through some other means. Like maybe Corazon didn't. Someone found him and did something to his body. I don't know. Like just some way. It's shonen. It's fiction. We can do stuff with it.
Yeah. I said, kind of what I'm expecting right now is after this arc is done. I mean, I think Law's going to stick around for a while just because they've got to meet up with his crew at some point. Because assuming the rest of them got away, Law's crew and Luffy's crew should be together. So I figured that they'll probably keep their alliance going until to fight Kaido, because Kaido's going to be gunning for them after this.
I think after this, I don't really feel threatened by Kaido if they once they beat Doflamingo. I mean, like I know he's obviously stronger than Doflamingo if he actually makes Doflamingo fear him. But I mean, I think there's a lot more emotional drama going on here. I didn't expect that. To be honest with you, I didn't expect this much going into Doflamingo. Like, I thought he'd just be another Shichibukai who has maybe more knowledge than you think, because he obviously knew a lot more than Gyakumoria. So
or even Crocodile.
Crocodile is awesome. Like, I think he's really underrated.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like I think part of it because like a lot of people underestimate him because of the whole bounty thing, but he is powerful.
Well, you know what Oda said, right? Like, it's because no one knew about his Baroque works when they made the bounty.
Right.
Had the bounty been had he still had his the bounty been active, it would have actually at least doubled.
Yeah, at the very least there, and like I said, and a lot of Crocodile's isn't even in his raw power either. It's in his ability to plan and think things through. I mean, like he planned for almost every possible contingency in that whole thing.
Is Luffy's bounty is 400, right, or 500?
I think it's 400 right now.
Okay, I know it 300 after the CP9 arc.
Yeah, I think it only bumped up an extra 100 on there.
That was after the war arc, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. At least Ichigo, I mean not Ichigo, Luffy surpassed Doflamingo in terms of the bounty. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, what was Doflamingo before? Like 320?
347,
Yeah.
I think. 340 maybe. Yeah. I think it was 340. Yeah, 340.
Yeah, I've got the bounty up. Like, yeah, right now Luffy is 400.
Yep. Good bet. So yeah, he has, but the other guy, the old guy, had 500 million.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like shocked that he's having so much trouble with the old guy. So yeah, and I'm the other guy should be past his prime too. So it's weird. But yeah, okay. So anything else you wanted to add?
Let's see here. That's it. I'm not quite sure what we're exactly going to do with our next arc just yet, because like I said, it's going to be either Kaido because he's the next major threat because he's going to follow after whoever took down Doflamingo, or Big Mom because she's the immediate threat. He was chasing them out last time we saw her.
Yeah, because he basically challenged her.
Yeah,
great for you, Luffy. You basically challenging two of you three because Blackbeard.
Yeah, Blackbeard and he and Shanks are already scheduled to fight at some point. I mean,
well, that's gonna be the last. That's gonna be the last.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, that was even Luffy's feeling on there too. Like when Law recommended this whole thing, he's like, okay, good, as long as Shanks isn't first.
Luffy challenged Shanks as a 10-year-old, right? So or 8-year-old or whatever. So basically speaking, I mean, he basically challenged all 4 emperors. He even challenged Whitebeard too. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He
like just
everyone.
right to his face. Everybody's just like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Hey, it's Luffy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's challenged everyone. That's basically it. Of course, Shanks is not a threat. He's just one of those like friendly fights, I think.
Yeah, like when they fight, it's going to be all out, but it's like not. There's no animosity between them.
Yeah. So right now, it's the order I'm going to assume is either Big Mama, and then Kaido, and then Blackbeard, and then Shanks.
And that's assuming we don't get stuff in between like that. There's like one more warlord we don't know anything about. Like
I thought they never replaced.
Oh no, they've got 7 warlords right now. They mentioned all but one of them last time they did a recap.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought because I think I might have missed the whole 7 thing. I thought they just never replaced. Oh
no, they've still got 7.
Oh okay. Well, I mean, I don't think the warlords are as powerful as the emperors. So.
Well, not in terms of raw power, but they're still. They can still obviously going by Doflamingo, they're still threats.
Luffy has he has allied himself with Crocodile, Jinbei, and Hancock at one point or whatever.
The hostile ones are threats.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like the Shichibukai they've not been as I thought they would be. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought they would all be obstacles, but I didn't know that he would actually ally himself with a lot of them.
Well, some of them were obstacles. It's just that they got bypassed in different ways.
Yeah, Hancock he won through love.
Kuma was on his side to begin with.
Who?
Kuma.
Oh, Kuma. Yeah, well, we never found that out too. Kuma was on their side. Yeah. Now that I think about it, a lot of the CG guys are pretty. They're pretty like rebellious in a way.
Yeah, like at least half of them are hostile to Luffy, but half of them are friendly or at least.
And he's
apathetic.
He's already beaten Gecko Moria, who Doflamingo betrayed, basically. So I mean, that's why I don't fear the Shichibukai, and of course he's allied himself with Law too. So that's why I don't really fear the Shichibukai anymore. I mean, honestly, I believe that after other than Kuma, that
might be why Doflamingo's getting this fight now, because he's like the last truly dangerous one of the bunch outside of Mihawk, and Mihawk is reserved for Zoro.
Yeah, Mihawk's Zoro, and then Mihawk's just leaving Zoro to do what he wants, and then maybe at the end, after, like right before Shanks or during Shanks or whatever.
But yeah, like at this moment, like Doflamingo's like the big bad threat of the warlords right now. There's like maybe, like I said, there's at least a 7th one we don't know anything about yet, and he might have some kind of surprise here for us. But
or she.
Like I said, I don't know if they mentioned the gender one way or the other, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't really feel threatened because I think at this point, if he beats Doflamingo, I think he can handle the last Shichibukai. I think he's beaten Gecko Moria, and he's beaten Crocodile, and he's, I think he's stronger than Jinbei, and I think if he beats Doflamingo, I mean, I just don't see much of a threat for this guy unless he's like the strongest one, and I don't think that's the case. Otherwise, he probably would have become a Shichibukai sooner. Yeah. think that's about it for.
Yeah, One Piece didn't have a whole lot going on at this time around.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's mostly a recap episode. I mean, it's a well done, it's decently done recap just because, like, at this much, with the whole flashback and everything, it's probably not in so much going on. It's not a bad idea to recap this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just kind of make sure everybody knows where everything's placed.
Yep. All right.
I mean, yeah. All right, so I think we got ourselves with One Piece then. So, they said, we'll just have to see how this comes up with next week on there. See what we're doing. I said, anything else you want to mention on there? Anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap up?
No, I think we drawn this out long enough.
All right, then I'm getting a bit tired myself there. So, all right, then everybody, we'll see you all next week, next time around, and thanks for listening.
Bye.